Hello and welcome. So we are at the end of the program, and now we are in the concrete step where we want to negotiate our worthiness to the organization we are going to work with, or our new clients, so the pricing we want to give and so on. I hope that you are already far more aware about your uniqueness and your expertise and how you can be helpful to the people you work with or you work for. And that is a great point, but I wanted to give you some extra information or tools in order for you to be able to see things differently and therefore to negotiate that even better. What we want is we don't want to sell us too short. We want to have profit as well with what we do, because when we have profit, that helps us to grow even more, and eventually we can use the money for something more important. So we are going to do three things in this video. I'm going to show you a model, and then we are going to have a worksheet. But before that, I wanted to share three mistakes that people do usually when it comes to negotiate salaries or when it comes to negotiate pricing. Usually we tend to do that like everybody has we learned, so let's say, and I want us to have a different way of doing it and to do it more like a CEO, the CEO of our life. And you are going to see that's going to help you to feel more confident about how you can negotiate things. So the first mistake that people do usually is that they link their salary to their self-esteem, okay? So that means that a lot of people, they just don't even negotiate their salary because they really don't feel confident about it. So the self-esteem is not that high that they think that they have the power to negotiate. And some people, they go negotiate, but the self-esteem is so low that it's not working. Maybe you know the other side in your organization or past organization you have been in. People having a high self-esteem and going and negotiating, and they are not very good at work eventually, but they just went and negotiated what they wanted to have. They got it, and then you feel like bad feeling about it because okay, they earn more, but they do less. Bad feeling, right? And that's usually the problem that my clients have. They are highly qualified professional with a high standard of achieving and giving results. And I think you have seen that in the groups, right? But at the end, so they are not paid the right value. And the problem with that is it's hurting them, but as well the organization they are working with. Because at some point, when you feel that it's unfair, you don't give your maximum. You are not as good, as engaged as you could be. Okay, so it's hurting as well your organization if you don't ask for the right paycheck. Let's think about that a minute. The second mistake that I can see is usually we see the value of our work in ourselves, which is wrong. The value we give is in the organization, is on their side. They are the one being able to acknowledge or to evaluate how valuable it is for them. Because if you are, I don't know, if you are a great professional, it's something, but the organization in front of you don't need your service, the value is not there, okay? if you are a professional in something and the organization needs it a little bit, the value is only that. If the organization needs a lot, so the value is that. That has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the organization you work with. So the value is on their side. You have to tell them, to show them, to find what they need, the results they could have if you work with them, what they can lose if they don't work with you. That's the value. It has nothing to do with you. It has more to do with them. The last part is that the last mistake that we do. Usually we look at, okay, what are the qualifications and that we have, and how many hours are we going to work there? And there we calculate the salary, which is okay, but we can do better. We can do better because, again, I'm sure you know some people having the same qualification and maybe even more and working the same hours, but delivering far less. You know that? Do you know that? Yeah. So it has nothing to do with your qualification. It has nothing to do with the hours you are going to invest in this work. It has to do with the results you give. It has all to do with the results you can give to the company. Okay. And when you have that in mind, that gives another way of calculating, evaluating your salary. Again, it's what kind of values the company get from your work and not how many hours you are going to spend there. I know that somehow it's linked, but it's not one-to-one, and I think you understand that now. So what I want us to look at is what is the value we can give to the company? What is the cost of the company if they don't hire us? What is the cost they have if they don't hire us? Because usually we have what is the cost if they hire us, but there is another kind of cost if they don't hire us. And I want to show that in a very quick model. And I want to show where is our job, what we have to be clear about in order to be able to better negotiate our salary. Let us have a look at it. Okay, so here we go. Here it's money. And so first of all, yeah, that, let's put like this way, that is your salary, okay? Salary, let's put, I don't know, a number like 7 to 9 grand, okay? And for your salary, the company has a cost, right? So it's a little bit more than the salary. It's depending of the country you are in. So it might be the double more, or depending. So I would put, let's say, 12 grand. That's a cost for the company you work with, right? And then there is the production of your work. That's the return of investment. Somehow your work gives some value, something. That's the results you give. And at the end, there is the cost of the company. It's another cost. The cost of the company would have if the company didn't hire you. The cost is usually the return of the results of your work. But sometimes there is extra costs depending of the work you do. For clients, if you think about clients, it's kind of the same. I can give you an example of one client. Okay, let's say the client. So the cost of the client was 1,500, I think. It was like 3 years ago. She came to me because she wanted to work on her self-confidence at work. The return of the work we have done together, there is a lot of things that are not on money, but one thing was that she decided to go and negotiate raise. She negotiated something like 300 a month. And at the end, so if it was like 3 years ago, I think, so if we look at it like 3 years ago, let me calculate it really shortly. Okay, 3 years ago, 300 a month, it's about 10,800 euros. It was in Europe. So the cost she would have for not hiring me would be, okay, and she paid that. So when you see that, you feel confident about paying that, right? It's about 10 times, because now she's going to, if we go in 2 years or in the future, that's going to go even higher and higher and higher. I hope you understand the concept of it. So our job is to look at what is the results we give to the organization or to the client, and what is the cost if they don't hire you. And then you are going to tell me, yeah, if you don't hire me, so they can hire someone else. Yeah, maybe, but anyway, they are going to have some return and some costs, so it's not going to change anything for them. And if they hire you, there is chances that the return, the results is going to be higher than if they hire another person. And why I can say that? It's because you made some extra work in order to have higher standards. And I know that my clients have higher standards as some other people that never really think about all these things. Okay? So just take it as it is. Believe you and believe me. Okay, so how to do that now? I'm going to help you with that. I have created a document and let me share it to you. So in this document, you have the first part. So the first part of the document is how valuable are you for your organization? And then there is about 10 questions. You can do that alone. It's not very complicated. You can do that in 2 minutes. And then you are going to have a score at the end. It's a nice way to look how you can help your organization on a behavioral aspect. It's more about the behavior. Now, there is a second way to calculate your worthiness at work, and it's more about the results you can give a company, okay? And it's our job. What kind of results they can have when they hire you, what kind of cost they have if they don't hire you. And let's start with it. The first question is, problem your organization has in your field. So the problem they have, if you have some if you have some case, so from the past job, use the case of your past job. If you don't have anything because you are starting something new, imagine your ideal job or your ideal clients, what kind of problem they have, okay? The imagination work is going to help you to have more clarity. So just go for it with your imagination, even if it's not the reality yet. So program your organization has in your field. If I take my first job, that would have been, I was working for a French company, but we wanted to open the German market, okay? So the problem my organization had in this field at that moment is that they had a little bit of business in Germany, but they had nobody really understanding Germany, being there, and therefore they couldn't grow this field. It was a lot of energy for nothing. And that was the problem they had. The impact is that they were thinking about stopping to develop the German market and just staying in France, because it was almost the only market they had. It was a French company on the French on the French market. The results I help the organization to get. So the specific results, well, we had like 0 clients, and after 2 years or something like that, we made more than 2 million. So that's the direct results I could give my organization. I was kind of alone in Germany, so I knew that it was my result. In my case, it's really easy to give some results. In your case, sometimes you have to dig a little bit longer, to look a little bit deeper, but try to just put some numbers, some results there. Long term, how long can they repeat the results you provide? Well, in my case, so I know that it was like, I left the company more than 10 years ago, and I know that they still have a team working in Germany. So what I have done during the past is still there. The intangible. How else was the business improved? Well, in my case, with this company, because we succeed in on the German market, and the German market in the chemical field is huge market, very important. So we knew that we were able to go in Europe to expand really. And to expand even more, because they knew that I could go to China and so on. So the intangible was the vision for the future, definitely. It was, yeah. The emotional part, what is the emotional impact of the intangible? Well, for the company and for my hierarchy, so the people on the top of the company, it was really, really interesting, because they knew that the company could grow. And if the company cannot grow, because in France it was not possible anymore. So if the company cannot grow, it's difficult. If the company, you have like some new doors opening, it's like, oh my God, it's great, you know. So that might be the emotional impact. For some of you, it might be difficult to find some emotional part, some emotional impact, depending of the job you do, depending of the company, the size of the company, depending of the client. If you have clients direct one-to-one, you should have the emotional impact very, very present. How did their life get better personally? Here again, if you have like private clients, it should be easier to find it. If you are in a bigger organization, it might be possible to find something or not. The ripple effect, who else benefits? If I take my job now as a coach, I know there is a lot of ripple effect. My clients usually have a high emotional effect, so they feel better, they feel more energized, they feel more confident, and the ripple effect is that they give that to their organization, they give that to their family, they have another way of raising the children. It's a higher standard, higher value, and the ripple effect is really, really great on the environment of the client. Cost, what would it have cost them not to hire you to do this job? It's a little bit the story that I told you before. If I take my job as an engineer, well, the cost is that the 3,000, the 3 million that we have done in 1 or 2 years. Without me, they wouldn't have been able to do that. And if they would have taken someone else, it was so difficult. The conditions have been so difficult. So I know that I was the right person for the job. So it's really easy for me to know here is the cost that they wouldn't have, if they would have, if they wouldn't have hired me. Okay. Again, depending regarding that, the cost of firing someone because it's not the right person for the job is really high. It's depending of your qualification and so on, but it can be up to 150% of your annual salary. It can be very, very high. So that might be an extra cost if they don't hire the right person. And the last thing you can think about is, okay, did you feel you have been paid enough for the work that you have done? It has nothing to do with the hours you spent, but really with the results that you gave and what will have been the right salary. So you can have a look at that and you can think about the new salary you would like to receive. Yes, for sure. When you are an employee, it's important to know the range of the salary that the company pay in your region, in your country, in your city, in your field. I would definitely suggest to have a look at that, but it's not necessarily something that should stop you. You can always ask a little bit more of what you see in the actual range, okay? And I really have example of people who decided to negotiate something out of the range and they achieve that. So you can always ask. Then it's negotiation part. We are going to look at that after the next video. So remember, never look at your salary and link it to your self-esteem, but link it to the results. Through the results you can give to the company, to the need the company has, and to the cost they would have if they don't hire you. Okay? What I want you to do is to, if you didn't do that in the same time, you can look at the video again and stop it and fill the questions and the template, the worksheet. And I would like you to go in the LinkedIn group and to let me know what you liked in this video and what you learned from this video. I would love to know about that. And yeah, we are going to see next video how to negotiate things in order to have a win-win situation and not a lose-lose situation when you sell you too short. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.